fam? HHN 365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Duff, and as always, I'm here with my co-host Jess.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on? We're Mikeless, so here we are. Us, me, you.
I was gonna make a really bad. That was our mic check joke, but
Yeah, something like that crossed my mind, but I decided not to say it.
oh well, I
Somebody.
went for it. So
Someone said in the 100th episode, they left a voicemail and said we're their OGs, just us two. So,
that's
hey,
fair.
what's up? It's just us again.
Hey,
We're back. Hey, follow us on social media: Twitter, Instagram, HHN365, TikTok at HHN365pod. We also have merch at HHN365.bigcartel.com. That Pumpkin Lord shirt, pretty great. It goes well with this year. Just saying. And if you want to join us on the show, leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134. And on today's show, we're bringing back Jonathan from the Hauntline for our second Hollywood special of the year. So, without further ado, Jonathan, welcome back.
Thanks, guys. I'm really excited. I mean, we know everything about everything now, and it's exciting stuff. And thank you once again, Orlando peeps, for staying up. You and Jess, I really appreciate it. I know it's pretty late here on the West Coast, so it's even later for you guys. I always appreciate it.
It's just one of those things we do for. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm tired. That's all.
we're getting
haunts for the love of horror.
For the love of horror nights.
Oh, for the love of horror. We're also getting used to staying up until 2 a.m. for those 2 a.m. closings. So
hey, there you go. Training. I like
there
it.
we go.
That's all it is.
There we go. Good spin. Good spin.
I've had much less alcohol than I would normally, but we'll get to that point.
That
eventually.
can change right now.
Right? I'll be right back, guys. Anyways, yeah. So today's show, of course, is going to be about Hollywood because, as you alluded to, everything's here. We know it all. And John Murdy ended it all with, oh yeah, and Jabberwockies too. So yeah, literally everything out there. But really quick, before we dive into anything we're going to talk about on this show, just want to remind everyone that we have our live trivia at Half Barrel Beer Project here in Orlando, Florida, just down the road from Universal Orlando Resort. That is going to be Wednesday, August 31st. So from the day we drop this, that's 1 week. Event starts at 8. We recommend trying to get a spot by 7:30 if you want to guarantee you're in there. We're going to have prizes that'll include shirts, gift cards, the usual for us. So hope to see some of you guys out there. But before we get into Hollywood, how about some news and rumors? As always, of course, things are popping up in Orlando. We're getting really, really close. 10 days, 9 days from when we dropped the episode.
9 days from now because it's past midnight.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Single digits.
Pretty crazy, but of course that means things are popping up. So let's do a quick rundown of the HHN 31 construction we're seeing. So starting in Horrors of Halloween, of course, in Production Central. Some really cool things. It was kind of teased that the Pumpkin Lord was going to be intertwined throughout the event and primarily the scare zones. Well, now each zone has its own representation within this location. So it's kind of like showing you layers of the ground underneath the ground, and it has candy and scarecrow shit and witch shit, and it just looks really cool and excites me how much it's going to have to do with the event as a whole.
Yeah, I went today just to kind of like walk around. Speaking of training for the event, I was getting my miles in, before we're starting to have to walk back to the parade buildings every night. But I really like how this is looking. I won't ruin our hype list for next week, but I didn't have this ranked super high personally. But actually seeing the construction in person, I'm really loving like the colors. It's really bright with the lighting. I think it's going to look really good. And those like layered set pieces that we're seeing are so nice. The graveyard one, you didn't mention it. You mentioned all the other zones except graveyard.
I mean, I thought people would kind of get the gist, but that's,
I know. I'm just saying graveyard. What Hunter called that my child yesterday or something like that.
Sounds about right. I'm sure he's told you that many times.
Yeah, that's my baby. I love it. It looks so good.
I do also think that we didn't mention, because they didn't exist yet, the vines wrapping up the truss. It's really cool, and that goes into the other props. And some people are alluding to every zone kind of has vine type shrubbery throughout them too, and that could be tied in. I'm not fully sold on that yet, but I could see the possibility. Sure, yeah, makes sense.
I think also every zone has, it's not corn, whatever it is, the bamboo fake corn. Because Conjure the Dark had some today that I didn't notice before next to the cauldron set.
Oh,
So I feel
okay,
like that's
all right.
also going to tie in somehow.
And while we're at Conjure the Dark, there's a bunch of props that they put out that is kind of like scattered trees, plants, um, assortment of items that witches would use. And I must say they are very spread out. It's leaving a large walkway.
Hmm.
I like the potential there for not hating that zone just based off people. Too many people.
Oh, hey Duff, construction for the stages in the middle are going to start next week. Just
Yeah,
heads
yep,
up
there
there,
it
guys.
Oh,
comes.
God. After team member preview, they'll put them up on Thursday.
We've heard about rumors of like the full size parade floats in New York. We're wrong. They're actually in San Francisco.
Oh my God.
You know the 1600 parade floats, very popular back then, of course. But also going over to Central Park with Scarecrow Cursed Soil, a bunch of wood fencing has been put around just for more aesthetic than anything, but also some probable boo holes, including an outhouse. And then, Jess, you were just there today. What did they look like? The other items?
They're all. I was having a really hard time explaining these before we started recording. They're all just wooden structures, very barn esque. A couple of them had doors on them. Other ones just had corners to hide around. There were triggers on all of them, and like cables leading to triggers. So I'm interested to see. But Barn Watch 2022, there's still no barn.
No barn. Barn watch fail.
I
We'll keep an eye on it.
There's a week. I'm sorry, a week until team member preview.
I
When's this
mean,
barn going up?
mm, we'll see.
Ooh,
Let me
ooh.
tell you, as somebody who has been there building that shit at 2 a.m., it gets done. It hurts, but it
Oh,
gets done pretty quick. So just don't worry. It may be coming, and it's probably going to happen like before you even know it.
it's
Uh,
happening right now.
Right now,
yeah,
tomorrow, it's
it's
gonna
gonna
look great.
sneak up on you all of a sudden.
They're like pulling an actual barn somewhere in like four corners right now, and
Oh
just
my God.
lifting it, airlifting it at that, and dropping it right there in Central Park. It'll be great.
I
Can't
will say the promising thing about seeing like all this other construction in this zone is there was that question of, oh, is the barn going to be like that kind of tarp, that design tarp that we're seeing over in New York? I think that it's going to match the wood that we're seeing in the rest of the zone. I don't think it's going to be, the quote unquote cheaper route that they went with.
I hope not.
I think we might have to see, unfortunately, some of it because it's probably going to be a tent to withstand like,
Mhm.
weather.
Yep.
But look what they're doing with like the food tents. It'll be something like that. It'll be
Uh,
built around it, probably.
I'll live.
I hope.
I'll live. I won't judge until it's there. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's a barn. I'm excited for it. And then was there anything new for Graveyard?
I think I would consider that they finished weathering everything.
Okay.
They might not consider it done, but I didn't see any set pieces
No.
without, vines on it or not vines. They were dead vines, I guess. Um, they moved one of the gates, not the big gate, but there was that smaller one in the middle. They've backed it up onto another set piece to create like a bigger set piece. That was new to me. But other than that, no.
Okay. Cool. So then I guess we can move on to my favorite thing that's visible now is if we go over to Ghoulish, where the entrance to that will be. They have like um, the sign for the times, which is 9, 10, 11, 12. But the logo that's being used is a record. This is what has the cover with the vinyl itself coming out from it. Really cool artwork showing Ghoulish. And then also another fun thing. We don't know if it means anything. It would be weird if they kind of tease something like this and didn't mean it. That's fucked up. But the 9 and 10 say side A, and the 10 and or did I say whatever? The first two times say side A, and the second two times say side B. Just like on a vinyl, it will have two sides and have different contents on each side. So, two different versions of the show, or is it just for show?
I feel like it's aesthetic. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer.
I mean, you're probably right. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah. I think it is kind of unfair to get our hopes up like that, but they're not gonna make they're not making a different Lagoon show half of the show. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
It would also
I
make
don't
more
think it
sense
is.
if you had two, like you would alternate rather than
Yeah.
like, okay, earlier this one, later that one. You know, I wish it was real, but I doubt it, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the artwork's really cool, and if you like look, they've used different, 13, it was 13-page read along, 31 RPM, like, all the little numbers and everything. The artwork's like a classic haunted house. I really like it. I'm excited for this Lagoon show for once.
All right, relax. Don't
Hey,
hate on it. Don't hate on the Lagoon show.
I'm not hating on it. I'm
No, you're not hating on
weirdly
this one. You're hating on it in general.
I'm not hating on anything. I am being optimistic for 2022.
Okay. A new year, new you.
Honestly.
And then whew, my least favorite part of our updates. Um if you go over to the boutique in Islands of Adventure, we've seen a lot of Lil Boo, whether it be on merch or popping up as Easter eggs. How about Little Boo, the teenage size prop? Because he's actually like a kid. Like his head is on a human body. And it's the most disturbing thing I've ever fucking seen.
It's terrifying. That's the real Halloween Horror Night.
Yeah, that's the nightmare fuel right there.
Ugh. It's bad, and he's just sitting on like a barrel in like the middle of the store in the back.
It's kind of ominous, man. It's kind of like he's taunting us almost. Like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and his
Yeah.
head is bigger now
Yeah,
too.
it's like way too big. That's kind of like it's.
I,
I don't. I
it
don't. I don't get it.
I
Why?
kind of I kind of avoided eye contact with him when I went in there earlier. I won't even lie. I was looking for that fanny pack, and that fanny pack could have been in his lap, and I probably would have walked away.
Don't lock eyes. Don't
No,
lock eyes.
it was like when you see an ex in public, and you're like, "Oh my god, I hope they don't notice me."
Oh,
Oh, it was uncomfy.
ooh, that's never fun.
Little boo.
Mm, Maybe we should have the quick discussion about too much Lil Boo at this point. You know, I mean, like an Easter egg or two is fun. Some
Mhm.
merchandise that people can own. You know, that's appreciative. Are we going a little overboard from what was this? I don't know if niche is the word. It became a very big deal on social media, but you know, just a small thing that came out of Horror Nights, and now like the next year being completely blown out of proportion, and it's suddenly not this small fun thing anymore. It's like the only thing currently when we're talking preview stuff.
Yeah, I tweeted about it, and I was expecting people to hate me. They pretty good responses. A lot of people seem to feel the same, but it's a lot of boo, and I understand that it's preview merch still until the tribute store opens. We don't have anything, and honestly, until the second week, usually we're still missing stuff in third week. So I'm hopeful for the full merchandise drop. The house shirt. Apparently that Pumpkin Lord shirt is the Scare Zone shirt. That's
Mm.
what their market the website to order, the
Mhm.
Universal website has it as the Scare Zone shirt. That's a weird call to me, but
It makes sense
I
though
know
with what's on it. Yeah.
it does, but like the Scare Zone shirts in the past couple years have at least it's normally like listing the scare zones,
Mhm.
and that's the thing that's weird to me. But back to Lil Boo, it's just so much boo, and my fear for him is that we're all gonna get burnt out really quickly, and I'm already starting to get burnt out.
Yeah, I think definitely capitalizing on it while they know it's hot, right?
Hmm.
Something like that wouldn't last forever. So I guess I get why. It's just a little too much for my taste.
It
Yeah.
is pretty incredible though. Like I must say that Twitter and our fandom kind of created this little monster this
Hmm.
year, because truly it was in response to how enamored we all were with this little pumpkin from a facade all of a sudden last year. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. It's funny. I kind of love it, but at the same time, yeah, it's a little much. But maybe I'll just stay out of that store.
No, the store is great. Go into it. My issue with the full size Lil Boo that we have now is Emery, the girl who actually created Lil Boo, has a full body Boo, but he's kind of like a little kid. He's like Sam almost,
See, that makes more sense.
and he's
Yeah.
so stinking cute. He's got roots.
Yeah,
Like
and he's
it's very
not
Groot.
humanoid. Like he's
Yeah,
humanoid, but he's not like human like this one.
yeah. He's not wearing like jeans and boots.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's very unsettling. Still go see the store. Like it's very cute. The Halloween vibes are immaculate and it's year round. Like we get a Halloween store year round, but it's just Lil Boo, avoid eye contact.
All right, on to better news. Theme Park Bar has spotted something very important, and that is going to be Blinky Cup options. It's one style right now. First of all, this goes back to a style that we haven't seen, like of the cup itself, its design, not seen since 2014-ish, I want to say. Because 2015, I think they went to the more current style cups that they use resort-wide for all events, where it's kind of more of a grippable kind of bottom. Like it has kind of indents to make it like more grippable, and it's a more traditional glass other than that too, so that's nice. But anyways, the design itself, they used the Everyday is Halloween and the HHN 2022 logo that has the pumpkin for the zero. So the glasses already look better than last year, so that's a win.
I love it, and the lights might actually work this year.
Yeah, I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
They don't
but
they don't look in-house printed, so
it's fair. There's more than one color on it too.
yeah, quite a bit.
No, that's great. I don't know what this Blinky cup style. I've seen the picture, but I couldn't really tell like the shape of the cup because obviously I didn't start going till 27. So my first experience with a Blinky cup was the fucking split cup. I don't-
Yeah, I remember that too, and that was a choice. That was a very interesting choice.
it was so bad. The straw like came apart as you were trying to drink.
And the two straws were never the same length, so you
No.
weren't. By the time you were like a third of the way through with one, but like half through with the other side, and
Literally, and I remember like not paying attention, and then like one straw jabbing me in the back of the throat, and the other one I wasn't even getting like to
God.
and I was just like, this is miserable. Why are we doing this to ourselves? And you couldn't drink without the straw because then you're just making a mess because there's a fucking divide in the cup.
Right.
Yep.
I could give a whole TED talk on how much I hate that. A lot of people could, but I don't know what this cup shape is. I'm excited to see what you mean, Duff.
Yeah, I mean it's very much more of a standard like a beer glass, to be honest, like a shaker glass kind of style.
Okay.
With some more, I don't know how to describe it.
It's okay.
It's a more traditional cup style. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more cup-like.
It's about as cup as a cup gets.
Those Blinky cups do be cupping.
They do.
I'm just glad that this is the graphic we got. I have a feeling we all kind of expected either this or Lil Boo on the cups, honestly. I'm glad he's not on the cups.
Well, I mean,
there might be more.
Yeah. Just because we're seeing this one now doesn't mean there's not going to be more options down the line. In fact, I hope there is, because that's become one of the things I'm not most excited for, but something I look forward to throughout the event is collecting the Blinky cups. So yeah, hopefully there are, and hopefully it's not Little Boo. No offense, Little Boo.
Yeah, I also hope I kind of hope that the colors of the lights are just orange and purple and maybe green, and that's it. That's all I want. Don't give me red.
To be honest,
I don't want red this year.
On this one design, you could give me just orange. Don't give me the variety. Just orange would look fucking great.
Oh, they should do that and then release maybe like the Lil Boo, Cat and Skull Design. Do that one in purple.
There you go.
Oh, yep. Universal. You got something here.
I believe that's it for news and rumors. Is there anything you want to add more for Orlando side?
Oh, we missed the jacket. The ugly ass jacket.
We'll pretend that was on purpose.
There was some merch that, we're getting more merch all the time. That tribute store, I feel like Oh, we didn't talk about the tribute store, the facade. It says tribute store
Oh
now.
yeah, it says tribute store. They put purple and orange light bulbs around it. It has
Hmm.
like car dealership flags. I don't.
It matches the zone now. It very much matches the vibe of the zone
It does.
because the zone also has some like pennant flags and some
Yeah,
lights
those things. That's what I meant.
car dealership.
Hey,
There's
but
a wacky wavy
I knew
inflatable.
exactly what you were talking
Right.
about. Like,
Exactly.
Hey,
They'll have
I'll
them.
give you that much. I'll give you that much, Duff.
If you sell
hey.
used cars, you have those.
So that looks great. And it matches. I noticed today when I was there, the like pink on like the, I guess the building part of it matches the building perfectly behind it. So it all just like flows into Universal. You're killing it. I can't wait to just like, I don't know, exit the tribute store into the zone during the event. That's just gonna be wild, I feel like, because it's all together. And then the jacket, yeah, there's a Screamer's jacket, a denim jacket, and it's ugly. It's so ugly. I'm sorry if you like it.
That was like the best piece of merch last year, and they're like, "So let's do it again." And
How do we make this but
oh
worse?
man, they just
It's terrible.
oof.
It's
Listen, literally all they would have to do is just bring back those jackets again, and believe me, they would sell. They
Instead
would
of
sell like
Chucky, you have
crazy.
Casper though.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
they could have done the jacket and done like the Monsters graphic because it was
that's
Frankenstein
true,
last
yeah.
year.
Or every day is Halloween version of it,
Oh,
something like that.
Now we're talking. Now we're
Ugh.
talking.
I've already bought 3 long sleeves this year from Horror
What?
Nights.
Are you serious?
Yes, I bought the flannel.
Uh-huh.
I bought the Pumpkin Lord hoodie.
Yep.
And then I bought the little boo cropped women's hoodie.
Wow, you are.
And I'm gonna buy the spirit jersey that they're promoting on the app right now. There's a Every Day is Halloween spirit jersey that's coming.
You're gonna be layered up in Hollywood when we go.
Oh yeah, catch me wearing all my long sleeves the only time I can when we visit California.
I love it.
Yeah, no more long sleeves for Jess, but I'll probably still buy them.
And I think
and there's a fanny pack.
Oh yeah, I did like that. It was a nice
I like
design.
the fanny pack.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I don't
It's the Every Day is Halloween
like it's
as well.
It's not something I use. Like I have pockets that do well, and I don't need to wrap something around me, but it looks good. So
Can't relate. I'm a woman. My clothes don't have pockets.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Okay. I need the fanny pack, is what I'm saying.
Well, why didn't you buy it?
I went today. I had to avoid eye contact with Lil Boo, but it wasn't there.
Oh.
I told the whole story, Duff. Come on.
Sorry. I'm not half. I'm sleeping. So one more thing we can mention though is another watch of sorts. Red Coconut Club is not yet dead and may never be, of course, but yeah, Dead Coconut Club, where's it going to be? What's it going to be? Will it actually exist? If you say coming soon that many times, it better exist.
Yeah. So my thing is, so Skipper Haas tweeted today, and then I went, and there is a swizzle or like a stir stick for the Dead Coconut Club in the boutique now.
Mm-hmm.
It looks exactly like the swizzles from the Swizzle Lounge.
There you go.
Like that like day glow. You know how they look like they glow?
Mm-hmm.
This one literally was glowing under a black light.
Right.
So I really think it's just the Swizzle Lounge, and people are getting excited.
I think that was our last week. That was our consensus guess on the podcast. Was probably Swizzle Lounge.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't be upset about it. I still think it's cool that they'd be putting more effort into it than last year, which was come on.
Hey, there were costumes and props, but the drinks were not good.
Ooh, they were not.
Oh, there were like 3 drinks, I think, themed to the icons, but they were barely. So,
all right, moving on.
Yeah.
And now I'm mad at Orlando, so we're gonna go to Hollywood. Yeah, full slate announced, all in one drop. We got 3 separate videos out of it, I believe. 4 if you include them taking the main one Orlando dropped and then putting the Hollywood Globe in it for like 30 seconds to start, just to show you it's for Hollywood. But yeah, first of all, some great videos, I think.
Oh yeah.
Maybe one of them was probably my favorite of either coast. And I guess we're going to start with that one too. So, hey, the official return of killer clowns from outer space.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, it's only been 2 events, but it's time, I guess. Let me read through the quick blurb they put out. There's nothing funny about these killer clowns who are back to make gooey out of this world's. Oh, make gooey out of this world's snacks, out of you and your screams. If ever there's a reason people are afraid of clowns, this is it. Yeah. So the announcement video itself, one we saw Brock, who you might remember from the Blumhouse
Brock.
announcement, who was on the other end asking for a ride. The video ends with him asking for a ride because his current ride got shrunk down and killed by the clowns.
Because the ray guns do that now.
They do that now. Yeah.
Yeah, the cotton candy ray guns. But it was so good. Shorty came out, zapped him. It was so good. It was my favorite video so
Oh
far.
yeah. They knocked it out with that one, man. It brought. I mean, here's the deal. I really enjoyed Killer Clowns. What was that? 2019, right? Yeah, 2019. I enjoyed the house. We're now using the same term. I really enjoyed the house in 2019, and so I'm glad that it's back because it was fun, man. I thought it was like the best balance of like kind of tongue in cheek comedy and horror. It was just a great time, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see your version as I was not there in 2019. Yeah,
Oh,
I missed
interesting.
2019. That was my gap between when I started going. A total of 2 years, so not much of a streak. But
That's okay. Hey, man, that's me with Orlando.
yeah, yeah.
Or is it 3 now?
Oh,
I guess this is my 4th year.
wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
See, you're a seasoned vet now. I'm still kind of a rookie for Hollywood.
I only have one more year on you in Orlando.
Oh, dang.
I didn't start going until 2017, so this is my 5th year.
Oh, nice.
I got a lot of history in the brain, but not a lot of years going.
Hey, man, that's a good streak, though. 5 years. Congrats.
Thank you.
That's a good little milestone right there.
I'm glad that 31's the year, and I'm going to Hollywood this year, so I get to experience Killer Clowns. I liked our house out here, but I'm excited to see the Hollywood take on it.
Yeah.
Is it your first? It's your first time, Jess, in Hollywood ever, right?
Yeah, my first time going to Horror Nights. I've been to actually not Universal. I've been to Disneyland. That's it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I'm excited.
Well, I'm very excited then to have you guys go through it because I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I got to say, with this year in particular, if like I feel like if we took 2 or 3 things from the Hollywood house and 2 or 3 things from the Orlando house and put them together, it would really be like the perfect experience. Like I don't know, for the first time ever, and maybe I'm overhyping it now. So maybe it's don't read too much into this, but I actually enjoyed Hollywood's version of Killer Clowns more than I did Orlando's. And typically it's usually flipped. Like I'm always like, oh man, Orlando really did this, so I really liked it more, whatever, right? But yeah, so I'm very excited to hear what you guys think of it.
Well, if it was that good, John Murray did his Q&A. Forgot to mention that.
Yes,
as always, after all these announcements. So for each thing that's been announced, I'll kind of hit you with what he said in the Q&A as well. This one will be pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw in 2019, or what you saw in 2019.
Yeah, which makes sense. That tends to happen a lot here in Hollywood, which I don't mind. For the most part, I mean, hell, Knott's does it for their mazes for years, right? Like 5 or 6 years. I mean, we just lost Paranormal Inc. Last season, and I think it was in the park for 6, maybe 7 years. So, but yeah, this is not a bad one to have come back as a carbon copy, and I kind of felt the same way about Exorcist too, if I'm being honest.
Okay, all right. I will say it's pretty crazy that the best announcement video, in my opinion, was for just a repeat house.
Right.
Crazy, but I appreciate that effort. Also, repeating, Farmer Gene, who was out front of the facade, will be back. So that's fun. I always like those style interactions that Hollywood tends to get.
Yeah, they do a good job with those, and it was kind of a bummer to lose them last year. It's understandable, but I'm glad that we're kind of heading back in that direction because there's just something about having a performer outside of a facade that really, I don't know. I think it sets the guest up for success before they even hit the house. I mean, uh, it's an excellent element to the design of a haunted house experience that I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah, definitely. Jess, you want to take the next one?
Sure. All right. So the next one is La Llorona, the Weeping Woman. You and your Scream Squad. Remember the tale of the woman who drowned her children and then herself. Once a childhood fable, she's back to terrify once again. This is no nightmare. This is La Llorona.
Now, let me tell you, it's a nightmare because for as a young Mexican kid hearing this story, it stuck with me. Let me tell you.
So this video, there's a walkthrough on YouTube, or a couple walkthroughs of this house because it's been 10 years, I think. Since,
Jesus, yeah,
it was 2012, right?
Oh my God! Whoa!
Yeah, somebody else pointed that out. I can't take credit, but I was like, oh God,
Jesus!
Yeah,
that hurt. Whoa!
This is like the first, I think, Hollywood. It was called maze back then, so I'll call it a maze. Like maze experience that I had seen on YouTube back in the day. Like I was all into Orlando, whatever videos I could find, but this is like the first Hollywood one I found, and I was obsessed. So the fact that
Nice.
I am getting to experience this house that I loved years ago just watching, like if you could tell me 10 years ago I'm going through this house, oh my God, I wouldn't believe you.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
It's my little nerd. Yeah.
That's so cool.
My little nerdy moment. So I'm excited for this one. I know it's a repeat. I know some people are like, ooh, I don't care.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Jess. This is one that I'm highly anticipating, kind of for the same reason. I never got to go through it. My first year at Horror Nights was the year after La Llorona was there. I think it was 2013, where they had El Cucuy with Danny Trejo. So I missed La Llorona entirely, and I watched the same videos, like the two walkthroughs. I think even Universal really did a really fun behind the scenes look at the one with oh my God, who he plays Andor in Rogue One.
Oh my God, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Diego Luna. He's like I guess he was the consultant that year, which is kind of fun. So they did a whole behind the scenes video. That was my only exposure to the maze. So the fact that I'm getting the opportunity to go through it, and let me tell you, hey, fans of Horror Nights Hollywood always talk about this damn maze. This house. They're always talking about it. So I'm very excited to see it too for the first time. We got to go through it, Jess. We got to make sure and go through it together. I'd love it.
Yes. Oh my God, it's happening.
So I forgot to mention, I'm terrible at coordinating. Jonathan, after this, like we get through everything, we're gonna kind of drop quick hype lists. So don't know if you're fully prepared for that, but good luck if you're not.
Okay, I will get started on that.
I will just say I'm very excited for this one as someone who grew up a Horror Nights nerd on this coast. Seeing mainly stuff about how much better our event was.
Right.
The one thing that always stood out was how good the La Llorona houses were.
There it is.
So there's some excitement. I'll say that much.
Oh man.
I'm excited to see those puppets. I'm sorry. That was I could talk about this house forever. I'm so excited.
Well, let's see. What does John Murdy have to say about it already? What is he going to tell us?
Oh, yeah. How could I forget? There have been some things tweaked here and there.
And that's referring to specifically the 2012 version of the house.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. And Murdy considers this to be the best of the two previous iterations of the house.
Which, that's exciting. That's exciting right there. Because people are really hype on the older versions. So if he's hype on it too, then it's like, okay, all right. This is going to be a cool experience.
Now, I will say, Murdy's pretty transparent, but if someone asked him and he didn't believe that, would he say, no, this is probably the worst of them?
No.
Yeah, probably not.
But I will hold out hope he's completely serious.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting too, because like this one's for you, Jess. It's a little history here for from Hollywood. But they used to have that maze behind the queue, or I guess it was where the queue was, the extended queue for Shrek 4D, and
Oh.
so that location is completely gone now. So they kind of have to retrofit it to the Parisian courtyard. Um,
Oh, I didn't realize it
so
was a different
yeah,
location.
completely different location. And the Parisian courtyard's kind of interesting. I feel like Bride was maybe a little shorter than that location has been in the past. And I'm running a theory that this iteration of La Llorona is not going to exit where Bride exited last year. It's actually going to exit closer to the Despicable Me ride, like on that side of things. There's like a little
Hmm.
photo op that's out there and a little quick service restaurant. And I think that's where we're going to exit, and they're going to direct us to the right, right after that, to get into the scare zone that extends past it. Which the scare zone I'm super excited about too, and we'll talk about that later, right? Is that on the list? Yes, yeah, that's on
Oh
the
yeah.
list.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So we'll get to that, but yeah, so that's the theory I'm running for La Llorona this year or this season. So I'm pretty excited to see if it comes true, because then that'll be a pretty long maze, man.
Oh my god,
Oh
I'm gonna
House,
please.
die. I'm
Oh
gonna die
please.
in there.
fingers crossed.
And then, Jonathan, would you like to take the next one and an interesting flip of what the property is, and you announcing this one on the show?
Sure, man. Yeah, I'd be happy to. So, Scarecrow, The Reaping, is coming to Horror Nights Hollywood. It's been officially announced and confirmed. And here's the blurb. And I'll be interested to hear from you, Duff, how, or from you, both of you guys, really, how different it is from your guys'. But anyways, here we go. Here's the blurb. At an abandoned Depression-era farm, vengeance takes root. The Scarecrows are avenging the ravaged land. In this all-new haunted house, the only harvest that will be reaped is your Scream Squad.
Mm,
There it is.
mm, Only one part of
Stop
that stood out to me, unfortunately.
stop trying to make Scream Squad happen.
Um,
It's not gonna
I will
happen.
say, if I hadn't have watched the Midsummer Scream panel from John Murdy, I would think it's the same exact house, because
Yes.
that is the exact concept of what Orlando's was. He does say that
Nice.
there's going to be more of a focus on the period piece aspect, and
Right.
um, kind of the struggle of that life as well, and we'll see that in details. But otherwise, just from the way the blurbs put out, yeah, it sounds just like our Scarecrow.
So interesting. I actually, the other day, I watched a couple of different walkthroughs of your guys' version, uh, and I could see why people are pretty hype on it, and also why it was pretty scary. It looked really dark in there.
Terrifying.
Oh yeah, watching POVs of that is kind of useless. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure, no,
Yeah,
yeah. There was maybe like all of 30 seconds that was useful.
Yeah,
literally.
it's it's funny because like there's those older houses that I always want to go back and relive because I can't, because the quality of film was not good enough. This one was
Right, right.
2017, and I can't go back and watch it.
Right,
And
yeah, which is it's crazy to think how far we've come too, because now there are a couple of cameras on the market that would have absolutely no problem with that
oh
house without any
yeah,
lighting. But it's only been a couple of years. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with what you said, Duff, about the panel. Had I not watched the Midsummer Scream panel, I would expect that this is the same house and Murdy just kind of did what Murdy does and put his spin on it. But the thing I'm most excited about is, and this is not knocking Orlando's version, but our character design was very much, here are the different characters. It wasn't stages of, the crops decaying or anything like that. It was just like, this is what they are. What Murdy was saying is that there are like oozy scarecrows, and then they have a beast crow, and then they have like all different stages of, like, I guess what's happening in this dust bowl and everything. And that is exciting to me,
hmm
because that's a different take on character design, and makeup's like my thing. So I'm very excited to see that aspect of it, but I am very worried because Scarecrow's from my first year. It was, my favorite house that year, everybody's favorite house that year, pretty much in Orlando.
Yep.
And, we don't want to compare, but we're always going to compare. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to do a whole episode on it. I'm almost positive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you guys want to hear us do it. So, you're no better.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's my fear is I'm very excited for this house, but I'm also very worried that I'm going to go in and be like, oh, well, that was good, but black wall. We didn't have a black wall.
I will say, first of all, Murdy really didn't have anything noteworthy to add from his most recent Q&A, so I'll bring up some older stuff he has said about this. Is that while there is going to definitely be quite the Hollywood flair, that this was built off the Orlando treatment, and that set and design wise, it's going to be pretty similar. So that could bode well for lack of black walls and stuff like that, because they could just be building out
Okay.
basically what Orlando did at the root of it. So that could help in that sense, but that could also make it more of too much of a direct comparison, and that's the part that worries me.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be like too head to head. Like, all right, you did the same thing with some changes, so who really did it better?
I know that Murdy loves to do Q&As, and I wonder if anyone's even asked this question, but has he said anything about the height of the actors? Because that was a big selling point on Orlando, is that all the actors were 6'3" and taller, I believe, or something like that. Yeah, that was casting requirement. They did obviously some covers if people were sick or called out, I think were shorter, but I was so afraid. I am 5'5", and my favorite and least favorite thing that's ever happened to me at HHN is it was just me and my sister. We got to do a social media contest actually in 2017, and they gave us an express pass, and we went through Scarecrow at the end of the night, and there was a stop. Someone, I think, threw up in the house.
Oh, no.
So I was stuck in a double boo hole area with two actors pinning me between their chests. Shoulder.
No.
They were not touching me, and then eventually we're I guess we're just gonna touch her with our chest, and pushed me, and I was just stuck, and I was like, Ashley, you gotta go, you gotta move. I'm not having a good time anymore.
Oh, no.
And they were towering over me, so it was
interesting.
very important how tall these actors were. So I'm afraid I'm gonna be like, oh, look, a short Scarecrow.
Yeah, maybe I'll just let you off easy here, Jess, but I don't think they've ever done a special casting call like that ever in Hollywood for specific heights or builds, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think about Yeti, right? That was a very specific height and build as well.
Yeah.
So Orlando does that all the time. I don't think Hollywood really ever does that very much.
So we're going to have King Crow and Mini Crow.
Hey, or you know what? Doesn't Hollywood love to put actors up on the platforms?
That they do. Yeah, they always have those little elevated boo holes.
That could really work for this house.
That's true.
Sure, yeah.
So, okay. Hey, I'm excited. Scarecrow, I think if approached correctly, which it sounds like they hopefully are, it's going to be good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this much, and to your point earlier, Duff, too. It's interesting because I feel like and obviously it's a video, so it's not a perfect representation of what the experience would actually be like. But from what I saw online, the video walkthrough of your guys' Scarecrow, I think it lends itself to Hollywood's tents very good. Where was Scarecrow located in Orlando?
Sprung tent.
Well, there you go. There you go. So that makes me think, especially how close quarters it looked. I'm like, this could work really well in Hollywood. Also, it brings to mind Nightingale's Blood Pit, I think would work really well in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Something like, I just had one that kind of escaped me. Oh, Seeds of Extinction would kind of work well too, because it's very, very close quarters, close and tight. There's not a lot of room in those tents, and that's a hole that Hollywood kind of always gets into in terms of design. They only have this very limited space to work with, whereas Orlando, I think in the sound stages and also even in the sprung tents, which are pretty massive, they're pretty big, there's a lot more room to play around with the actual layout of the house itself. So I do think that Scarecrow is going to lend itself pretty well to Hollywood. So again, not to overhype it, but I think it's going to be a pretty cool experience, and it should be heavily inspired by yours, but also with the Hollywood touch, which I think will work there. Will work well in that space as long as there's not a ton of black walls.
I hope it's better. If it's better, then that is only going to increase the experience I have this hunt season. So
Oh yeah,
I'm rooting
fingers
for it. I'm
crossed.
rooting for it. And then the final house that was announced in this drop, another original, replacing what we believe was Evil Dead Rise. It's going to be Universal Horror Hotel. Which, first of all, like, that's the most unoriginal name I've ever heard. That's unfortunate. But let me get through the blurb real quick before we get into that. A 1920s Hollywood hotel, once the hunting ground of its infamous serial killer owner, has been turned into a modern day haunted hotel. Now he's back from the dead. Your first stay will be your last. Now, this is
Dun, dun,
something
dun.
that he teased a lot during the panel and never fully announced. Showed off characters, gave some backstory. It's very H.H. Holmes, a more modern take of that. It's very American Horror Story Hotel, the kind of concept of what's going on here, right? Um, but that's fun, I think, and bringing it back to this whole 1920s aesthetic. Um, I mean, there's a reason a lot of people are excited about. Um, why can't I think of the name? Spirits of the Coven over here. Slightly different era, of course, but very close. People are into that older, or no, it's same because it's 20s. I don't know why I thought this was 30s. I just said 20s.
Because I think you're thinking
The Tower of Terror.
there's the
That's
word.
exactly what it was. Yes.
Yep. That's what you're thinking.
It's just an era that people are very into. Especially, I think it's an era that works really well in like haunted settings too. Um, so there's a lot of intrigue for me going into this one for sure.
Yeah, so what intrigues me the most is the usage of the old Walking Dead footprint.
Mm,
Because did you guys ever get to go through that?
unfortunately,
No.
Well,
No.
Dove, if you can remember, it's a pretty big space. Like
it is.
it's pretty
Yeah.
tall. It's pretty wide. So the hype for me and kind of my fear lies in the fact that it's such a huge space. It's technically a soundstage. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think it could lend itself to Murdy and the design team, and specifically Murdy, really trying some new things in terms of set design and like scale of spaces, right? Because Orlando does this amazing thing where they can create these huge sets like the graveyard in the opening of graveyard games, or even the opening of Bride, where it was tall. You really felt like you were walking into a castle. I feel like they could do something like that in that space really well, but I'm afraid that we're gonna walk in and it's gonna be like mostly Q.
Mm. So,
Mm.
That's my big
so you
worry.
think not utilizing the space they're given is a potential concern?
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, because
Underutilizing it, if you will.
I feel like that's already an issue with current locations in past years for Hollywood, I'd say.
Right.
With the big thing
Yeah.
about black walls, because I'd say that's underutilizing your space.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
so yeah, is giving them more space to work with potentially setting yourself up for trouble? I guess that's to be seen, but I sure hope that they look at that space and go, okay, we can have fun with this.
Exactly. Not okay. We can put the queue all over here.
Oh God.
Oh, this queue can be massive. You know what I mean? Like,
It's just a people eater. It's not even a maze or a house, excuse me. It's just it's an experience. It's a walking tour. um through the old skeleton of the Walking Dead. No. So I don't hate the name of this house.
Oh,
I don't hate it. I'm sorry. I think it is what it is. I think it's telling you what you're gonna get. And sometimes a house needs that, I guess. But I don't hate it. I think it's a little there was not really much thought put into it, but I don't hate it. I'm excited to see this. I think this was the DeVille like sneak peek that we got, right?
hmm
Midsummer.
yeah, exactly.
I
Which
loved all of that.
I honestly, talking about the name real quick, I almost wish that they had stuck with Hotel of Horrors
Oh yeah, that would have
from
been
that
better.
presentation. But yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, Jess, go ahead.
agreed.
Oh no, you're good. Oh my god. I'm excited. It sounds like Orlando and Hollywood kind of went different routes, but kind of went with not, I don't want to say the easier way. Like Orlando's doing, a prison, obviously, with Hellblock
Oh,
horror.
sure, sure. Traditional
Um,
tropes, if you will.
yeah, so I guess a hotel, I think more recently because of American Horror Story and stuff like that, have lent itself a little bit more to that traditional trope. And scary movies, there's usually a hotel or something involved,
Sure.
I guess. So I'm just excited because it seems like they've done a really, like, they've thought out a backstory with this one. And
Right.
I think that sometimes that's Hollywood's downfall, is it's a lot of IPs and then the originals, or either they knock it out of the park, or I don't know, from what I've seen on YouTube, you know.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
excited to see kind of what they make of this last minute change.
And I do want to go back to Murdy's Q&A here, or go to it for the first time in this sense, because you had a concern, which I think is valid. I have another concern because of something he said. This will not have a facade whatsoever, but it will have a
Oh yeah.
pre-show scene that will involve animated effects.
It's just a line. It's just a line. It's a cue to nowhere.
Um, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
with it being such a late replacement and just some of the things that are potentially going against it, I have concerns. I have excitement because of the story and because an original in Hollywood is going to get me a bit excited to experience it. But no, concerns are very valid, and I have some of my own for sure.
Yeah. My one question is, you brought up it's basically a soundstage and they have to kind of fill a soundstage. Orlando's is also rumored. We have no confirmation on locations yet, but ours is also in a soundstage. So do you think that Orlando is just, they're better at filling a space than Hollywood is with sets, or
I mean, they have to do it every year on in multiple locations, so
yeah?
I think it's literally just yeah, they're better at utilizing their space and
Okay.
immersing you well.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing is that's what always blows me away about Orlando is that you walk through like I mean I'll use Seeds of Extinction as the clear example to me that house always sticks out because every single inch of that was covered in plant, in root, in
Yeah.
greenery, in moss. Every goddamn inch of that that house was literally just caked in it, and that is amazing attention to detail where I'm like, bro, this is dark. You don't even have to go that hard. You know what I mean? Like, you really don't, but you do, and I appreciate it.
You put plants on top of plants to just cover it with more plants. Like,
Literally, yeah, literally. So, oh man, like,
I love seeds. That
yeah,
I'm Descendants of Destruction. I am so hoping that there's something hinting at seeds in there.
yeah.
We can geek out
Mm.
about that later.
So yeah, that's what Orlando does really well, and that's
Gotcha.
why I really love Knott's and what they do at Knott's. They really kick ass in that respect too, where everywhere you look, it's immersion.
Mhm.
Oh my god, you're gonna get to see me geek out in Dark Ride.
I'm excited for that.
But yeah, that's all the houses that were dropped. So those are going to join the previously announced The Weekend After Hours Nightmare, Universal Monsters Legends Collide, Halloween, and The Horrors of Blumhouse. And we didn't have previous scare zones, so we got all our scare zones with this drop as well. So we can hop into those. Who was next? I take it? All right, Jess, you're next.
All right. So our first scare zone is El Pueblo del Terror. Excuse me. It's like 3 a.m. at this point. From La Llorona to El Chupacabras, the most terrifying myths of all time converge in one tiny village where La Muerte is your only escape. God, words are hard right now. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but listen, they're not doing you any favors with the way they wrote this either.
No. Hey, at least there wasn't Scream Squad.
Oh man.
I wish
And
Scream Squad would meet El Muerte.
oh my. And this will be located at the exit of La Llorona, which I think we were talking about earlier. So
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on this one, man. It's a cool topic because like Mexico does have a lot of like legends and not even just Mexico but all of Latin America. I mean, there's a rich library there of myths and legends and cryptids and witches and what have you. So they pulled a pretty cool amount of them from different regions, which is pretty exciting. And I'm really, really stoked on seeing how the costumes and the masks look, especially when the lighting goes up and with the fog going. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm stoked.
Oh my god. Yeah, and the construction. Oh, sorry, Duff.
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead.
Oh no, the construction that we're seeing, and like I'm watching all the video updates that come out. It looks so good already.
Oh yeah.
Everything that's going up.
If it ties in anywhere near as well as Silver Scream Queens did last year with Bride, it's going to be my top scare zone easily. Also, La Llorona, El Chupacabras, that sounds very specific. It could also be just naming the top two that people would know, but also,
well, that's true.
One's a house in Hollywood, one's a house in Orlando. So interesting.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm sure it means absolutely nothing outside of maybe a haha, but still.
Yeah, because I think that the zone we're seeing, like, there's imagery for multiple like cryptids and lore and stuff like that. I think El Cucuy is one of them too.
Yeah,
that's up. I'm curious to see kind of the character design for this is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I keep saying it, but Hollywood just seems so good. Orlando too this year. Everything is just lining up to be an amazing haunt season.
Well, let me tell you, funny that you mentioned that. I've had a couple of conversations with different people online being like, I feel like there's something in the air this year for Hollywood specifically, that it's going to be a pretty big year. And I agree, because I think thus far in all the years that I've gone, the most, like the best year has been 2019 for me. And I think this year is going to be like a really close runner-up. Like, there's something about it. It feels like all the pieces are kind of finally starting to fall into place, and they're really starting to grow into a really great event like Orlando. Because Orlando's got, 31 years doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how true it is, but it feels like the budget in Hollywood has like amplified. It seems like they're able to do a lot more. Going back to what we've seen for a while is these facades that they're putting up. Insane. The quality and how many of them there are. Yeah, that alone is kind of unheard of, really. Like, that level of facade we haven't had in a long time. So, yeah, you're right, Duff. Very excited. Very excited. Probably definitely my most anticipated year for Hollywood. Outside of my first year, which was just because it was my first, not because of the event itself. So that's a little different. Jonathan, would you like to take the next one? Sure. We've got Sideshow Slaughterhouse. The blurb reads, step right up and enter a seedy sideshow where murderous geeks, freaks, and rustabouts make your horrified screams a part of the show. And this is going to be located in the park's New York set area, which is right by the Flame Towers, which I'm glad they're back again. And another Hollywood original here that can be compared to a season of American Horror Story. Look at that. Indeed. Wow. Indeed. They just want it back. Wow. That's all. They just want American Horror Story back.
Hey, I want good American Horror Story back.
Damn.
Sorry. Stories is not cutting it.
Oh, it's pretty bad, actually. Anyways. Yeah. Oh, I was hoping you were talking. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sideshows. I feel like this is another trope, like a really popular. You see it at haunts. You see it, at Spirit. There's, sideshow props and decor and stuff like that. We're already seeing there was like a Siamese twin. I think statue, mannequin. I can't think of the word right now. I can't even think of the other ones, but I'm excited. Is this in the front? You said Flame Towers. I don't know the park at all.
So you walk in to the park and there's kind of like a main street, right? Mm-hmm. That's a scare zone, but it's not this scare zone. So you walk, it literally kind of flows right into the one into the other. So this is kind of right at the main like square of the park, if you will, where everything kind of branches out from there. So that's where
Gotcha.
this is located.
So it's the hub that the
The
spokes
hub,
go
yes,
off of.
yes, exactly.
If we're doing Disney terms.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is like the main, like the heart of the park, like the heart scare
Right.
zone, I guess.
Like
Okay.
to get to everything, you're gonna cross through here, whether you like it or not. Like
Oh,
you
that's
know what I
cool.
mean? Like you just have to go through there.
Love that. And the flame tower. So I mean, fire breathers, flame towers,
Right.
sideshows. Oh, I love this. Hey, Freak Show was one of my favorite American Horror Story seasons. So
Solid season. Yeah.
it's not. Hey, it's not for everybody. We're not here to talk American Horror Story, Duff.
Or are we?
I mean, we could. No, I'm excited. It's not my. We'll get to the hype list in a minute, but I'll have a good time in the zone, I think.
Yeah, this is just a very curious one to me. I really don't know which way to go, what to make of it exactly. I feel like I need to see what the contents of this zone will be rather than just these static props, which I think are kind of promising, but it's not enough to convince me. So
Right.
we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. The next zone. Oh, this is the most Hollywood name of anything this year. Clown Saws with the Z.
Yeah, baby.
Of course. Some people think clowns are the scariest. Well, we've decided to give chainsaws to an entire troop of demented clowns. You're welcome. That's that's official. An official blurb.
No,
Okay.
that's just a John Murdy tweet.
That's good.
They just literally let the man put whatever he want for that announcement.
I was literally gonna say that, Jez. I was like, I feel like John wrote this himself. Like this was his creation. Like
On the plane from Ireland one day.
right.
Just sat there and said, "Ooh, this. You know what they'll like."
It's the "you're welcome" for me that really.
Oh
does
my
it.
god!
So, out of curiosity, do you ever get tired of, or do you truly enjoy when they have names of this sort continually return?
I'm numb to it. Duh.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
It doesn't even faze me anymore, man.
They ask you how you're doing, you have to say you're fine, but you're not fine.
I'm all right, man. I'm all right.
It's just something you kind of have to ignore when you're into haunt, I guess.
Well, it's just one of those things where it's like, listen, I can complain about it, but is it going to go away? No.
No.
So
just
are we
bring it
going to
back.
have a toxic tunnel with 18 X's? Yes, because
Wow.
we're at that level now. And, you know, things are that petty now. So it's okay. Whatever.
I feel like this zone, though, the name Clown Saws, the next one it's not going to be Clown Saws. It's going to be Clown Saws 3D, and there's going to be no 3D. But they're just going to go with the bit. So 2023 is going to be Clown Saws 3D, no 3D.
John Murdy started the treatment for that right now.
Oh my God.
He's starting it right now.
On the plane from Ireland, he starts typing. He pulls out the laptop. He cracks his knuckles. Just...
Oh, man. Good old Z's. Gotta love it. Z
Hey.
is for Hollywood, Duff. You said it best. Z is for Hollywood.
Yeah,
Z is for
it's
Hollywood.
sad. This is all we really have to discuss about this because I mean it's clowns
It's
with
clowns.
chainsaws. Not
But listen, I will give them credit where credit is due. I like that both of those front zones now kind of have a cohesive through like storyline, if you will, because you know it's a sideshow, and then it's clowns, it's a circus. I like that because we even talked about it in our review from last year, I believe, Duff, where I was like the two zones in the front have been kind of an issue for me because they just feel way too different from each other. It's kind of like they clash almost to a certain extent because we, 2019 we had Spirits and Demons of the East, and then we also had Fallen Angels, where it was just like skull masks with chainsaws. What?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like you walk right from one into another, and you're just like, wait, how the fuck did I get here? Wait a second. So yeah,
no.
I'll give him that much.
Yeah, we've discussed that on just our like crossover shows here, probably every time. It's one of my biggest issues with how they handle scare zones in Hollywood. Um,
Yeah,
so this looks a little better, right? Looks a little better.
definitely, definitely.
For me, it's giving and I don't mean this, maybe I do because I've never gone, but it's very much giving me Six Flags Fright Fest.
Oh my god,
Mm,
yeah.
hmm.
Because weren't they like really clown heavy at
Oh
one
yeah.
point, or even now
They
maybe
still
so?
are. They still are. Yeah.
Y-
They have a cold clown zone.
Yeah, so that's where I've seen this before, and like the artwork looked very similar to me. It was like a very colorful but like neon kind of clown.
Right. Yeah.
And that was very much Fright Fest. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But again, it's a traditional, Halloween trope. Clowns are scary. That's how we got Jack the Clown. Everybody loves
Right.
that story. So I my sister's gonna die in this zone. She hates
Oh no.
clowns.
Oh no.
Hates them. I can't wait. She's going with us. Ooh.
That's right when you walk in, man. So I'd prepare her ahead of time.
No, there is no preparing. She's just gonna this is worth every penny I paid to bring her on this
Oh,
trip.
she's gonna have a great time.
Oh, I am so excited. And like she loves killer clowns. That is the one exception. So
Oh, okay,
I'm
there you
also
go.
excited to see her in clowns.
Perfect. Balance, yin and yang. I love it.
That's what it's about here.
And then outside of scare zones, we do also have 5 scare actor interaction areas. Jess, just what do we have here? What are they?
Okay. What a weird way to present that. So our scare actor areas are scarias, if you will.
Mm.
Oh
Duff
man.
hates me right now. I just,
Slap that on a shirt,
I'm
please.
cutting it. I'm cutting it. It's not it.
hey, no, you're not. So our first one is gonna be, and probably the one everyone's heard about at this point, Death Eaters in Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you want me to read all of them and then we'll get into it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So our next one is going to be over by Animal Actors. There's a haunted forest area. There's going to be one roamer. I guess, is that one roaming group, not one individual scare actor roaming by themselves?
To be seen.
We'll see.
Now
It's
I hope it's that. Now I hope
You're
it's
welcome. One in the plaza. So again, one single scare actor in the plaza. And Hollywood Harry at the Hollywood Sign photo op.
That. Oh.
That one's interesting.
Yeah.
That one's
Is that I saw a picture on Twitter. Is that what's that? I don't know terms. That movie thing.
that
Oh,
movie?
I'm sorry.
thing?
What?
It is 3 a.m. Leave me alone. What did the action? It's the clappy thing, the clacky thing.
Oh.
The movie thing. Leave me alone.
The slate, the film slate.
Thank you. There's a photo op that went up with like teeth and blood and.
It's just beyond that. Just
Oh,
beyond
okay.
that. Yeah, it's
Understood.
literally like the shittiest photo of the Hollywood sign you've ever seen. On a vinyl wall. That's what it is.
With Hollywood Harry, this is camp. I love it.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Full camp. Okay. So the movie thing, which is now its official term, I hope you know, is just
The
a
movie
photo op, I
clacky
guess.
thing.
The movie clacky thing.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's just kind of a standalone thing.
Oh, well, love that.
Yeah, I'm actually a pretty big fan of them doing this. This is kind of an interesting little concept. It's like a pseudo scare zone. I'm especially excited for the Death Eaters because ever since I heard, I think it was either Japan or Beijing did this one year, and it blew my mind. And then I heard that Orlando got it, and so now I'm really excited to see it in Hollywood finally. After what I feel like years, I'm not even that big of a Harry Potter fan, but I'm like so stoked on this. I can't wait to get like photos and video of them. They're gonna look so dope.
And it just kind of amps up the walk. I feel like you walked through Hogsmeade
Yeah.
and it just like kind of fully took you out of the event. It's just dark and
Right.
quiet and
like chipper.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But now it won't be. So that's a win.
I'm excited. I was a Harry Potter nut growing up. Like I read all the books, crazy, the houses and everything. However we feel about the author, we can remove that from this. I heard that apparently she has no say in what happens at the theme, like about this. I heard was like a rumor. So, she was keeping, HHN away. Orlando didn't have Diagon open for a couple years in the beginning. But apparently she has no say in what happens during HHN. I've
Yeah, I know
heard.
that was the
Mhm.
leading rumor, but I never really believed that. You know what I mean? Like, I
She
was
probably
like,
has some say, but I
I think the say
interesting.
as much as I think the say is this. Yes, you can use my characters. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And then that's it.
More money. Yes,
More,
please.
that's the say. Yeah,
literally. I'm
more
excited.
zeros.
I'm gonna. I can we take pictures with them because I want to take a picture with the Death Eater.
No, they didn't.
Well,
Not enough zeros for that. Sorry.
uh, dang it! I'll just sneak a selfie 10 feet away from them,
There you go. There you go.
and that's it.
And I must admit, I'm kind of glad that the haunted forest area doesn't seem to be like an actual scare zone because there's bathrooms there, and I feel like that was going to make it a nightmare situation to use the restrooms in that area. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm glad they. I don't think they're going to be staffing that area.
oh, good. Okay, yeah, that would be an issue. That's where
Yeah.
the American Werewolf puppet is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He's just chilling right now.
Yeah.
It looks really good. It Hollywood seems to really be amping everything up this year.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we have a couple more other style experiences. Would you like to take the exciting of the two, Jonathan?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I can do that. So the Terror Tram is back, and it is featuring Jordan Peele's Nope and Us. This year, the villainous Hollywood Harry unravels Hollywood Harry's Halloween, a nightmarish spectacle with a demented cast of characters that winds past the iconic Psycho House, then through Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds set, as guests make their way through a choreographed massacre at the Jupiter's Claim set from Nope. They will encounter the Tethered from Us in a frightening finale of epic proportions.
And since the Nope is still fairly new, we will not spoil what does the killing there. We'll
But
keep
you
that
should go
part
watch
quiet.
it if you haven't.
You should
Yeah.
definitely watch it.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched it yet. I will.
Oh, you should go watch it. It's good. It's so good.
It's on the list. I got to watch the Black Phone before next weekend. That's
No, that's really
the first one.
priority.
Yeah.
That one's actually really good too. Like, I was pretty blown away by the Black
Oh.
Phone, honestly.
They're my top 2 horror films of the year for sure, right now.
Yeah,
Ooh,
easily.
okay.
Yeah.
Easily, yeah. Well, I got to say, this one kind of surprises me, y'all. I I never thought that all 3 of these elements would come together like that. Very, very surprising, and I'm actually pretty excited that we're gonna get out of the tram and walk through the Nope sets. I thought we were gonna drive through it, but apparently we're walking the damn trail, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's first of all an upcharge at the moment, something you pay extra to do. So getting to walk this set will be exciting.
Right.
I do think the whole tethered being involved is very unique, but rumors on the forums, we'll see. I mean, we might never know, but if they are true, I'm more excited about that Jordan Peele actually brought this idea to them. And this is something he suggested, that basically after the Nope stuff happens, watch the movie, you'll see, the survivors are then greeted by the tethered who arrive to finish off the job, basically.
Oh,
So
I wasn't understanding the story until
yeah,
now.
yeah. Very interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that again, a concept that I had heard rumors of, but the fact that it's actually happening is pretty mind blowing. I'm kind of torn about it, to be honest with you. It's kind of like random, but at the same time, pretty cool that we're getting kind of like a Monkey Paw Jordan Peele Terror Tram finale. In fact, I'd love to maybe get like a Monkey Paw Jordan Peele trilogy house one year.
Oh,
would love it.
That would be pretty fucking cool, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, if I'm okay, I'm understanding. Can you guys tell me I'm understanding this correctly, please? So it's Hollywood Harry from the moment you get off the tram until after the War of the Worlds set.
Correct.
And then it's Jordan Peele.
Right.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool as fuck.
Yeah, yeah. We literally walk across the street from the War of the Worlds set. So that's like behind you and it's gone.
Wow.
And you walk up to Jupiter's Claim. I'm picturing it now and I'm getting goosebumps. I'm pretty stoked on this.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool. Because like the thing is, like, Hollywood Harry lives on the back lot, right? Is that the whole story or something like that?
Yeah.
That's cool because then it's like, oh, he just tortured the shit out of you, and you're like, oh my god, I'm free, and it's like, haha, just kidding. Here's a movie set, but it's Jordan Peele,
Right.
and you're fucked. Oh my god, I
Right.
love it. Oh, okay. All right, Hollywood, I see you. I see you coming out here with the ideas this year.
I have to say, very refreshing idea and concept for the Terror Tram after it seemed to be more. Is bland the word? Is bland a good word, Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Just want to make sure I wasn't being too rough, but yeah.
No. Bland, repetitive. That's what it was for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but they're really focusing on it now, which is pretty damn cool.
Mm-hmm. Again, like you said, it's a interesting take, and we'll see how how it works out. But I'm excited that they're kind of swinging for the fences on it.
Absolutely.
And then the other experience is the Jabberwockies. So don't need to talk about that. There's literally no info.
They're gonna dance in masks.
What if they don't?
Oh, that would be shocking. I'd watch that show.
Just sit there.
Who are you?
In their masks.
Oh, they just sit there.
Oh, there's no dancing.
They're just sitting on stage.
I thought you were saying they were going to dance without their masks on. I was into that. Yeah, I was with Jonathan.
They'll do like what the Grabber does in the Black Phone. It'll just be shirtless, sitting there holding belts.
Until they fall asleep.
Exactly.
Or we fall asleep.
That would kind of be scary,
People
actually.
do that at the regular show, to be fair, so...
This is not America's Best Dance Crew anymore.
A couple other random tidbits not related to any of those announcements that Murdy did drop. There's no password houses, so like where you would go up to a character and you'd get an item for saying something specific. And then also, he's not sure if an opening ceremony will happen. That's something they're currently working on to see if they can get that. It sounds like basically approved operationally. So we'll see where that leads.
Interesting. And little hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Even though they technically didn't have a ceremony last year, they did have something. Like at 7:00 every time that the park opened, they would have like a little. It's like a musical moment, and the flame towers go off, and there's a voiceover narration, and then the performers come out. Mm-hmm. So it was unofficial ceremony. You know what I mean? So it might be the same thing.
Expect more of the same. Exactly. Yeah.
So
now the fun part, and I crafted this as we were doing this because I completely forgot myself. Hype list. We will do just houses. There's only a few scare zones, and to be honest, they're kind of tough to rank at the moment. So we'll just stick to houses here, and we'll rank them from bottom to top. See what we're excited about. Jonathan, as the guest, you want to kick us off with your, 8th place house?
All right, sure. For me, it's the Horrors of Blumhouse. That's not to say that I'm not hyped for it, but it just takes the last place for me. Horrors of Blumhouse, and that's not a knock on it, but there it is, 8.
Yeah, absolutely same. I mean, it's kind of something that's been. It's different source material this time, but we've kind of seen what they do with Blumhouse style houses. I have concerns about how both of these properties get executed, although one's a great film, the other has some really fun kills at the very least. Still really concerned about how they pull it off. So bottom spot for me.
Yeah, the Black Phone in particular is raising the alarms for me.
But fantastic film. We'll see. Really worried about the house aspect.
Yes.
Sorry, I realized I messed up.
Oh.
On my list.
Oh.
I fixed it. Oh. I didn't have Blumhouse on my list.
Oh, so not even bottom, just gone.
So it's 8.
No, the funny thing is my 8 is Halloween. It will always be Halloween.
Okay.
Same with my Orlando list. If it fits at any year in Orlando, it's 31. so it can fit at Hollywood. But Michael he doesn't do it for me.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
all right. All right.
I'm excited to see it. It's going to be good. I'll probably get a few good scares, but he's not my guy.
Well, I guess I'll take that leading into my number 7 being Halloween because
Ah,
seen it before. You know, I enjoy Michael Myers. I think there's a lot of it, and that doesn't leave me too hype for it, as the list would imply I should be.
Mm-hmm.
interesting. 7 for me is Killer Clowns, kind of for the same reason as you with Halloween, Duff. I've seen it before. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's going to be the same thing. So yeah, 7.
My 7 is Blumhouse, so for the same reasons you guys said it was your 8. It's
Nice.
just it. I think it'll be better than the last Blumhouse I saw in Orlando.
I mean, we can hope.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
All right, up to number 6 then. Oh, I think I have to flip something real quick. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to do this to the original, but Universal Horror Hotel. Everything we've said, there's concerns
Oh,
about how they use the space and putting it together late. And yeah, so there's just a lot of concerns that's going to drop it a bit lower than I would like to have it.
interesting. For me, it's Halloween at number 6 because although I do have a little bit of IP fatigue, I'm sorry, IP fatigue. Yeah, I said it right. I'm a sucker for that Halloween theme song at the event, and for Michael Myers at the event too. So I'm surprisingly putting this at number 6, and not lower. I'm a little hyped for it, a little bit.
I don't blame you. I dance every time I hear the Halloween theme, so
Yeah,
you just kind of have to.
yeah.
As much as I say he's not my guy. That song slaps.
That it does. That it does.
I will be dancing the entire way through both, houses on both coasts. So my number 6 is Killer Clowns, just for the reason I've seen the house in Orlando. Excited to see the Hollywood version, obviously, but it's been a house before. I'm always going to have new ideas higher.
Nice.
Well, once again, I get to use this to tie into my 5th, which is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which basically beats out Universal Horror Hotel just because it is, from what I've heard from many, the better version of the house that I saw in Orlando. So there is that level of hype to see it executed just a bit better, hopefully.
Interesting. Number 5 for me is La Llorona. Although I'm pretty excited to go through it. It is one that has been at the park before, and I do feel like I kind of know it because of the really awesome videos they had online. So number 5. Not to say though that I'm not pretty excited for it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. My number 5 is Universal Horror Hotel for the same reasons Jeff said. It last minute replacement. Sometimes those houses are great. Orlando has had some really good last minute replacement houses. They've also had some really bad ones. Hive. So that's why this one is 5. It's lower middle of the road out of 8. So we'll see.
And I think this one is going to show how strong I expect Hollywood to be this year, because this is something I usually have like 1, maybe 2 in Hollywood, and that's going to be Universal Monsters Legends Collide. I think I think Murdy has shown that he has a passion for those properties and executes them really well, and I should have a lot of reason to believe it'll be great. I just think there's a few more that I'm more excited about. I think this top 4 and bottom 4 are very different levels for me.
Interesting. All right. Well, number 4 for me is the Universal Horror Hotel, because although I am concerned, I feel like if done well, it could be really, really fun. And I think because, like you mentioned, Jess, it's kind of a common trope. It's a hotel. They've kind of done that before. I think it could lend itself to very easily be constructed in haste, you know what I mean, without losing some of the quality. So if they do it right, which I hope they do, this could be pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see it. My number 4 is also Legends Collide. Duff. So I was kind of vocal about not being. I was excited for this house when it was announced on both coasts, but it's not my monsters. But you know what we've heard and the panels on both coasts have kind of hyped me more. But my top three are very solid. In my top three, I knew what those were, and monsters didn't crack my top three.
Interesting.
Mhm. Fair. Well, my number three is going to be The Weekend After Hours Nightmare. A very biased pick, but I also think what Murdy has said about it intrigues me a lot. How it's very much about kind of the pitfalls of that lifestyle in LA, and it just makes me think of, especially kind of the imagery that the weekend in the era is part of, tying that into that era of like LA. Just a vibe I'm very interested in. So ranking this pretty high here, and also very biased. So again,
That is also my number three
mm,
for the exact same reasons, pretty much.
all right.
That is not my number three. My number three is La Llorona. Um,
Ah,
for
nice.
all the reasons I already said, this was like my geeking out Hollywood house that I watched on YouTube all the time. So I'm very excited to see it. And I also living, over here in Florida, a lot of my friends are Puerto Rican, and this is a huge, lore in their culture as well. So I heard a lot of stories growing up about it. So there's multiple layers to this. I don't have that cultural tie to being terrified of her, but I heard a lot of my friends were. So I'm very excited to see these puppets. I'm gonna lose my mind. I know I am.
All right, top two. Number two for me, Scarecrow the Reaping. I'm very excited to see how they pull this off. I know it's going to be very similar layout wise and design wise, but I really like what Murdy has said that he wants to add to this, this little Hollywood flair, and also it's just it's one of the best houses of all time in Orlando. So if you're building the base off that, like it's got to be good, right?
That is also my number
Well,
two, and basically for the same reasons. Again, that I'll reiterate. I think the design of the house from Orlando could probably lend itself really well to what Hollywood typically does. And yeah, pretty stoked. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it ends with that cornfield with the mirrors in Orlando. You guys had that, right?
Oh
Is
my
that
god, yes,
mhm.
with the crow sounds and the
yeah, that scared me in the video and how they kind of were just like, all right, good luck. The exit's on the other side.
the fun thing is that the scarecrow cursed soil zone, it takes place in the fields that you are
Huh,
exiting in that room.
smart.
So
God, I
it's
love
like
it.
a direct kind of it's Scarecrow's also my number two, by the way.
Look at
Nice,
that! Look at
nice.
that!
I couldn't put it at number one, and this is the Orlando in me, but I don't want to get my expectations really high and crush them. So putting it at number one was scary because I didn't want to be disappointed. So because I loved Scarecrow in Orlando so much, it's like my top three of all time originals. So like behind Graveyard Games, like that
Wow.
is high. I talk about Graveyard Games so much, so this is like right behind it. But I couldn't put it at number one, so I had to put something else.
Yeah, same thing, Jess. Because obviously my number one is not Scarecrow, and obviously it's La Llorona.
Oh
It is
man.
again going back to I grew up nerding out over the event before I went, and been going for a while, and it took me a long time to finally get to Hollywood. And you hear for a long time, sorry, it's what the internet says, that Hollywood is the not just the inferior event, but also not a very good one necessarily in a lot of people's experiences. But when it's that negative and you hear such good things about a specific house, I, I have to be excited when it was for so long hearing about it. So very very excited to finally experience La Llorona.
Well, my number one is Universal Monsters Legends Collide, and it kind of it's for the reason why you kind of mentioned earlier, Duff. John really loves the Universal Monsters, and it's been kind of a consistent thing where a lot of time and passion is put into the Universal Monsters houses. And yeah, I'm pretty excited and I'm especially excited because of the ties to Orlando. How they're kind of a part one and a part two, and also another bi-coastal collaboration, which I love to see it, and I hope it keeps happening.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that we're doing the whole like part one and part two thing with monsters. But
Right.
so my number one was not my number one until this past weekend when I finally watched the music videos, but it's The Weekend.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
I know Duff is
Whoa.
Nice.
over there like
Whoa.
proud dad right now. I will never say I'm like a huge Weekend fan. That is fully Duff. That is not me. I now enjoy his music. Only the ones I've watched and listened to, obviously, but those videos are so horror. And if you don't think so, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I said it. I will get on that soapbox now. And I feel like in Hollywood, obviously he's writing about that place. They're gonna get the tone. I feel like they're just gonna get it, maybe in a way that Orlando, we'll probably get it, but I don't know. I feel like they're gonna find a way to make it like hauntingly beautiful in there that maybe Orlando might miss the mark on, maybe not. I can't
Okay.
explain it.
Okay.
That's kind of like where I'm thinking, and also I don't know. The Weeknd says he's an HHN fan. A lot of celebrities go out to Hollywood, not Orlando. We do get some celebrities like Ariana Grande and things like that, but I hear a lot more about them going out there. So maybe he's more of a Hollywood fan. So maybe he worked with Murdy more. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
I mean, if it's a celebrity working, it's with Murdy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like sorry, Mike and the gang, but I don't know if Aiello's getting these hangouts with the celebrities like Murdy's getting.
Murdy ain't letting that happen.
No.
That's his celebrity.
I know. So those are my worries, I guess, for Orlando that I think Hollywood might hit the mark on. So that's why it's my number one.
Yeah, that's cool. I've never really thought about that, but that's good. Yeah.
I
It's the Orlando goggles.
did
Hey,
not
yeah.
expect that to be your number one, and I wasn't paying enough attention to realize that's what you had left. I was
I'm
taken aback.
glad. I'm glad. I was hoping it was going to go under the radar for a little bit.
It fully did.
Hey.
I'm very pleased with what I've heard.
Oh, well, now you need to educate me on his other stuff that's not the 6 songs in the house.
Deal.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of got us caught up here on everything that Hollywood has announced and our thoughts on all of it. That's the full event for HHN 2022, and it's just about a month till Jess and I are out there,
Oh man.
and then
Yeah.
just a little over 2 weeks till you're experiencing. Well, I don't. Are you going to be there opening weekend? I know you said you might not, Jonathan.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm there opening weekend for
Okay,
sure.
perfect. So yeah, you're almost there as well. So exciting times. We will definitely do another one of these episodes when, probably after we go. To be fair, that makes the most sense. I think after we've all done it. So probably early October, you'll be hearing from us about all of our experiences and our thoughts on HHN Hollywood in 2022.
Can't wait. Oh man.
And of course, that means Jonathan will be returning. So, Jonathan, do you want to let people know where they can find you in that meantime?
Absolutely, yeah. We're on Instagram and Twitter at the Hauntline, youtube.com/the Hauntline, and you can just go to thehauntline.com and find links to everything. Next big episode we're gonna have is a tips and tricks guide for Horror Nights and for Scary Farm. So those will be fine, and they might actually be live streams. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. We'll see.
Ooh. Jess, you have to tune in for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man.
And then, of course, you can find us Twitter, Instagram at HHN365, on TikTok at HHN365pod. Go grab some merch. We have quite a few designs available at HHN365.bigcartel.com. And join us on the show by leaving us a voicemail at 407-906-4134. And we only have one more episode until we finally do see you in the streets in Orlando. A couple more till it's in Hollywood, but you get the point. See you.